so surprised. I'm so surprised. Y'all been in church 2 hours and you're expecting to see heaven out here, and there ain't no heaven. You're still right here on the, hear the black man's truth. No, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You've been down on your knees the last 2 hours, haven't you? Begging some God to help you in the hereafter. But the hereafter is right now, brother. The hereafter is here and now.
We a series of amendments and leather African pendants, handguns and incense. Liberation's expensive. Earned by studying love, books and bloods, the crooks and thugs, the capitalist loves. They the enemies of the people because the words written replace where the innocence was. Searching for knowledge to escape what ignorance does. So we earn liberation by rejecting what was.
You got to earn your liberation.
You're on mute.
I said no Diallo level productions over here, and I still do Diallo level of production. And boom.
Boom.
Smarter than Diallo, prettier than Diallo, more logical than Diallo, more religious than Diallo.
You know what, Geechee?
It's a glow
I still
up.
have my bone to pick with you.
What's the bone? What's the bone?
Oh wow, she held on to that for a minute. The
What's
only
the
thing
bone?
she doesn't have, the only thing that she's not bringing as good as Diallo is a microphone. But other than that,
listen,
it's 100% improvement. But go ahead, pick the bone.
Let's contextualize this bone. Does this bone have anything to do with a conversation outside of the convention center next to the food trucks?
No.
This is how I remember, but go ahead. You go ahead.
No. This is what this conversation has to do with. You got on this here platform and you made these people believe that I would want to invest in Sombra City. You made people think that I would give my good, hard-earned money to those people to try to become new colonizers in Africa. Now, Geechee, you ought to be ashamed.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, this is the conversation I'm talking about. When we was by the food truck, when we learned that Pinky was hustling all her employees with franchise, I thought you said that. I think you mentioned something. I was like, "Yes, it's a scam." He was like, "Well, I don't know. I think I want to see or something like that."
And I was like, "Now you doubling down on it."
I'm just saying. I could remember.
No, are you insane? Are you insane?
I know you.
The only thing I said, which was in jest, was, I need to put my $1,500 deposit down so I can see where it's going, right? So I can see what the next steps are, so I can follow the money and see what they really doing.
Okay. You was doing an investigation. My bad.
Out the gate, Dr. Brown got Geechee looking at his notes like.
Wait, which one? I'm Russell Brand. Which one am I?
Yeah, you Russell Brand looking through your notes like for the answer, like what I say.
And I'm not gonna let Jared off either. So let me tell. And then Jared had the nerve to use the fingers that God gave him to type and put my name as a contender for weakest of the week. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Wait, I did?
Who else was typing the names? Who was typing?
When would I have typed Dr. Brown?
I was a contender for weakest of the week.
That is not true.
False allegations by Geechee. That is true.
That doesn't even make any sense because I don't think I would.
Pull up the recording and see am I a contender for weakest of the week.
And I do think you were typing that day.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Listen, Linda, I don't know what you remember, but it's on the record.
That I would need to see the evidence.
I'm sorry, I'll be more responsible when I say on these internets. We was not.
I would have never allowed for you to be nominated for Week of the Week. That doesn't even make any sense.
You typed it.
She was enamored by Shaka Bar's.
Oh wow! See,
Shaka caught her with the accent, and it sounded like he was saying.
Yeah, I think that was a different Dr. Brown. That wasn't this Dr. Brown.
Right.
I mean, I'm actually serious. Like, that doesn't even make any sense to me.
My name. I was a contender.
You was Dr. Brown, not another Dr. Brown.
Who other Dr. Brown we talking about?
You, my mentor.
No.
This is how you treat me.
No.
She did get 0 votes though.
I wouldn't have allowed that. I reject.
Honestly,
seriously, I'm 100% serious.
Facilitated it.
I have no memory of this whatsoever.
Hey, listen, don't let them EYL boys break us up. All
of this is on YouTube.
Listen, don't let these EYL boys break us up now. Don't let them do it.
But anyway, I'm not a grudge holder.
Thank you.
Chitty, what you supposed to be with me?
I'm saying she's probably making fun of me. It was from last week.
No, it wasn't from last week. It was from
ago.
when I was, and then I was a contender. Feelings hurt. I wasn't even on the show, of course. I was absent.
We would never let you get weakest of the week.
But it's fine. It's fine. I'm actually on my way to brunch, so we gotta.
Oh no!
Yeah,
let's.
Oh wow!
She's not about to feed us.
I'm not going to hold the grudge. I forgive y'all because that's what Jesus taught me to do. And so on this Sunday morning, I'm going to be a witness to the transformation that Jesus can have in people's lives. Amen.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
So all I want to do is I don't know when this. So you said 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago it says Earn Your Leisure, Jay-Z.
It was 3 weeks ago then.
And them folks.
3 weeks.
All right.
Pull it up.
We ain't got time for them receipts because she about to go.
All right, go ahead. I will just apologize and move on.
Well, let me say, if you find it, what are my reparations? Is what I want to know.
Just an apology. What
the man said just an apology.
What more would I have to offer?
I'll take it. But it's okay. It's okay.
Because I can't believe I would have. I can't believe I did.
Because of the investigation Dr. Brown was doing.
So 3 weeks ago was French Montana, Finland, and India Irie.
Then it was 4. I don't know what to tell you.
I was one of them. I mean, well, look, we can't look.
I was one of them.
I can't go. I can only go back, but so far.
It was the time that we was talking about the guys on the blimp.
There has to be a statute of limitations on that.
That's right. When they were in the hot air balloon.
Hot air balloon guy.
That was the episode. Hot air EYL on a hot air balloon was when I got dragged. Me minding my own business as I am prone to do.
Well, listen. You was minding your business in Atlanta, and now you making them look for a new home because Atlanta ain't doing shit for EYL. They keep bringing all this money to the city, and they bringing all these celebrities to the city, and they're not pleased with how the city has been not showing up. So there's
okay, all right. Wait a second. It says Dr. Brown for the Geechee interview. It was a joke about the Geechee, and I definitely didn't type that because I didn't write that. So I would have. It was clearly just a joke. Because Obama, InvestFest, All the Smoke podcast, and then you had 0% votes for the Geechee interview. So I don't even know what that was supposed to be. So it was clearly
it was Diallo. It was Diallo.
Diallo definitely. Yeah, I didn't type that, and I made sure you got no votes.
You made sure.
I made sure you got no votes.
You fixed the election. Thank you,
Jared. I fixed it for you. Always.
I told you. No harm, no foul. I'm fine.
But okay, all right, my bad. All right, let's get to this here. Let's.
Is Diallo still sick?
Is it just one thing that it always stays there, or do you say, we take it to another city?
Diallo said he still wasn't healthy enough to be in our presence.
We flirted with the idea just because the lack of support that we've gotten from the city of Atlanta, has been, something that has been puzzling. But we come from grassroots, so we know how to build things from the ground up. Get help from, our partners and people in the world of business that have helped support the event. It's the epicenter of Black culture, of Black business, about Black entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. We had a large fan base there and a large support base there. So it was like, all right, let's do it there year one. 4,300 people. All right, well, now we have partners that are from Atlanta. Our other partner, Mike, lives in Atlanta. It makes sense to just keep it there. And now it feels like it's part of the city, right? Like in the 90s, like it was different types of events that were synonymous with Atlanta, right?
Freak Nick. You saying Troy? I know you're married, but damn.
Come on, we're trying to stay together. Let's stay together, man. Come on, all right? And so now we got the idea and opportunity to bring a new event there and stay there. And hopefully it does stay there. I mean, that's the idea because it is a central location for a lot.
So,
right. So yeah.
Y'all ask the city for
people are not happy about it. There's a few folks saying they're not clear what InvestFest is. Like they've been there a couple years. And they still don't really know what the fuck is happening over there. But yeah, so they're looking for a new host city. Maybe they come to Texas, maybe they come to Tree Line Streets, but Atlanta ain't gonna have them for long.
So at one point they claim, or was it in that clip and I missed it, but at one point they claimed that ChatGPT said that they bring $100 million to the city, right?
Yeah, that was the other one, yeah.
And so because I remember in joking with you all in the chat, I'm saying, so your pitch deck to the city is going to include, well, ChatGPT said we bring. In other words, they should know, like they should have, I would assume that these good businessmen would know that you have to have that when you go to the municipality or whomever you're looking to impress, you got to have your pitch deck together. You got to have your this is how I'm demonstrating my value to the community, and therefore you should be giving us these specific things. Mm-hmm. I again find it interesting how often we keep running into this, what for me is this paradox of those claiming that we got to get our money right before we can get our politics right, always going back and realizing, but we need some political help to get our money right. And they keep wanting to leave that part out. And then none of them want to just do what I think we should just be skipping all of this and just saying more broadly, if we're focused on Atlanta as the example, Atlanta has a GDP of XYZ. That needs to be redistributed to everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're EYL, Coca-Cola, whomever. If you come to Atlanta and make money and do business and create wealth, and if you go shopping and live there and pay taxes, here's this pot that you should benefit from, whether you are smart and good at business as these gentlemen, or you are as bad at it as I am.
Well, you know that. I mean, you have to know that EYL is not interested in a redistribution of wealth, right? Like,
yes.
We all know that. Okay.
Correct.
So that part is never going to happen. But I always find it interesting or not necessarily interesting, I just find it predictable, I guess, when you have people like EYL who are famous off the back of Black people, right? And then they have all of this vitriol that they want to spit back at the same Black community when they feel like we're not supporting them adequately enough, right? The city of Atlanta, the people in Atlanta, they're not giving us our due. What are you doing? Why? So it's like all of these petitions and all of this like commodification of Blackness, like you're just supposed to get all of this stuff because you're Black and you're in this Black city and you're here and we need to serve you. And I'm like, as somebody who has been to InvestFest, not to do the things that I have been accused of doing in InvestFest, but as somebody who has been there and talked to people there, one of the things that I found interesting is people felt like the people I talked to, and they could have changed. It's been 2 years since I've been there, so I don't know today how it is. But they felt like there weren't really any tracks. Like it was all just one big thing that they threw at everybody. Mm-hmm. And so folks are like, I'm not new to investing. So I don't want to come to InvestFest because they're not offering me anything new. And so there were people who were sort of like, I guess you could say more advanced in the game. And they wanted InvestFest to be more tailored or have more opportunities for people who are new or people who are like, maybe not new, but maybe not old, right? And people who are like, I'm an expert in the game. And they didn't do that part. And so really it has become this weird, I shouldn't say it's become, when I was there, it was like this weird conference where you have all of these celebrities trying to get people excited, but then after you leave the big room, what are you there to do? And I think that's the part that they're not really understanding, that they need to figure out that that's what they need to do. But it was a great emotional appeal at that show. Like on Sunday morning, they had a church service. I felt like I was at church. Like they had a whole pastor out there preaching, you know, like they brought in all of these celebrities and they get you very hype. And it is very, like, it pulls you in. But beyond that, I don't know what they're offering.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, one of the things that I would want to look at is like festivals, roles, or connections to capitalism, and then how Black people engage to it, because it looked like they was trying to compete with Essence Fest. You will see like the South by whatever, but that's how they're thinking. Like, this is a festival, this is the big festival celebration, and we're bringing tax revenue to the city, and so the city should be more accommodating to us. Just like they said, because they blaming everybody. They blame the Black people too. But do you remember when they got on the stage? They was like, "We bringing all these Black people out, and there ain't no funders funding us. Where's the resources?"
Fair.
And then in the next year, that's when they started getting Microsoft and all these other things. Because so, what I also find is interesting is, you remember all of the people, and Jarrett probably do, all the people that EYL platform, and somehow there's conflict between them and they don't really rock with EYL no more. EYL is the
I thought you were about to say the people they platform that are in jail or prison.
Jail, right. That was the other one, right?
That too. But here's the point. Like, there's a lot of people who was associated with them who agree that they be lying. Like, for instance, Wall Street Trapper, who's here in Atlanta, he don't rock with them no more. And because Wall Street Trapper, in his mind, is genuine about trying to help people, and he said they are frauds. So most of these people in Atlanta, Aristotle the investor, Jay Morrison, all them people, the Black House was in Atlanta. In Atlanta, scammers don't mess with them no more. But they're so big where, like, they don't need them scammers. Like, so it'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see what city they go to next, and then how those cities will respond. Because if I'm honest, I don't even think they can go to Ghana and do it in Ghana. Even though they got a homeboy with a little land, I don't think Ghana would like, they were like, nah, we don't want that shit in. So I'll be curious where they're going next.
I guess I'm not really curious, probably, where they're going next.
I mean, they go on in there to say, because I was just looking at my what I said in my complaint to you initially when you sent this to us, that they want Coca-Cola subsidies. They want Atlanta to give them hotel rooms and police support.
And they have police.
Well, I mean, but I guess they want the city to pay for more of it, or cover more of the cost.
I know they was arguing about the ambulance one time, the ambulance, and they said they wanted a Black ambulance group. But when I'm telling you, when I got there, there was police, city police organizing the what you call those, the pitchers. All the pitchers was lined up in a line, and the police was making sure you don't go from that line to the actual festival. So like they had city police working.
Well, again, I'm just saying, apparently they feel like the city needs to pay for more of whatever that cost. And again, it's a whole bunch of give us subsidies and corporate support so that we can go on with this claim that we are creating generational wealth for Black people. And it's just bizarre. So yeah, and to both of your points, I don't, what do they claim other than the $100 million that they say ChatGPT says that they bring to the city?
Stop saying that.
I just thought it was a bizarre. I thought it was such a wild thing to say. Honestly, I did, because usually, even when I disagree with people like this, in many cases, they will present themselves as being more prepared for these conversations. And, so they would at least say, we've done XYZ research to show. And I would think by the time you're going public and you've had all this accumulated experience, that you would. Oh, and this right here, I stopped. I didn't even finish watching the clip, but once I saw where they were going, I was like, that's why I was asking you in our chat, are we going to cover some of this stuff? Because I was like, there's only so much.
Listen, all I know is the work of Dr. Brown is working, right? And these brothers, they're going to be confronted what happened to like their fans going to start asking them about capitalism and socialism, and they're going to have to. And right now, they're getting into a fight with Marx, and I'm not sure who's winning.
Can you enlarge the video, or just make it go full screen? They don't have a.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's not Netflix. What do you call this place? Instagram. I don't know.
Oh, Instagram. Yeah. Either way, my bad. Go ahead.
And it's very, 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 very much so to control the people, to give them the illusion that they have choice and power. Speaking of that, how do you feel about socialism? There's a big wave that's going on right now. Democrat socialist has become a thing. This is like one of the key words of 2026.
Sound like Trump.
Socialism has become a word.
The volume is low. Do you have it all the way up?
Socialism versus capitalism.
Yeah.
I was watching CNBC. They had a whole 20-minute conversation about socialism versus capitalism. What is your thoughts on socialism?
From a branded perspective, I think the Democrats need to pick a better term. It needs to be one word. Regardless of where you lie on the economic scale, I think we understand that there's like economic atrocity being done. All the capitalists who say they're anti-socialism, they sure are going to the White House a lot to get socialism from the administration. Sam Altman wants to offer 5% for American citizens to be able to invest in the data centers. That's a socialist movement for the elite. The bailouts were a socialist movement for the companies that were too big to fail. Stimulus checks is another one. The forced partnership in technology marriages, that's a form of socialism, because some of these companies should have died or went awry, or valuation should have been erased. Public education is a socialist agenda.
You remember the analogy that I just gave you guys about giving children two choices, but you're really in control and you making them think that they're making an educated decision? All of the capitalism things that Ian has spoke about has socialism infused in it. And all of the socialism things that even the Democrat socialists are talking about have capitalism infused in it.
Absolutely.
They're the same thing. Once again, people just get riled up by political terms that mean actually nothing, because ultimately it's the same thing. It's neither capitalist or socialist.
It's a blend.
Infusion, and it's been an infusion from the beginning. That's what people are not fully understanding. We've never lived in a capitalist society. Never.
No, not purely, no.
A pure capitalist society. We've never lived in a pure capitalist society. We've never lived in a socialist society. We wouldn't have private ownership. We wouldn't have entrepreneurship at the highest level. We wouldn't have investing. They fight for things that they themselves don't even know what they're actually fighting for.
Yeah, 401k programs, emergency services are socialist because you're not paying for private emergency services. They'll tell you they don't believe in Social Security and they don't think it's good, and then allegedly, especially in Chicago, then they raid the Social Security funds for their own benefit.
I'm so surprised.
So, just to be clear, the fact that these fellas don't know the difference between democratic socialism and capitalism does not mean that these are terms that have no meaning or mean the same thing.
I was a little bit excited about watching that video. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna hold you. I was a little bit excited about that because if I'm imagining who I think their audience is, I think it is interesting for them. Of course, I'm putting aside sort of like this conflation of socialism and democratic socialists, and with that, like putting that to the side, just like focusing in on this idea of capitalism versus socialism. And I appreciate him calling out some of the things that could put you on a path towards socialism. Like because maybe this will help people to understand I don't hate those things, so maybe I don't hate socialism. Because I think inherently there's just this conversation about socialism bad, communism bad, right? And so I think if he can, in whatever way he can, open up people to the idea of, oh, that's what those policies are, and that's what that means, then I don't hate that.
Is that what they were doing though?
I don't know if that was his intent, but for me as a listener, that's what I walked away with. I was like, okay.
So I might be spending too much time trying to analyze what the hell they got going on over there. But Ian is not really. You could tell he's not what he's like separate. He always talk about I. When I speak, I. But y'all got your own thing over there. So Ian makes sure that he's not with them. But they have this Market Monday or whatever the fuck this is, where they field what their audience is talking about. And so not only as they pretty much saying Mamdani has made socialism popular, right? And because they don't have the depth, they're just responding to things, but you can kind of see like they're trying to explain it away, like, oh, it's all the same thing. And it kind of goes back to, who said it? Killer Mike? When Killer Mike said that a white capitalist told him that he's a leader, and in a communist country, you'll be a rich man. In a socialist country, you'll be a rich man. In a capitalist country, like they are that type of ilk of understanding of anything about socialism, and they're just trying to, I feel like they're trying to explain that to their audience, but they're failing. And they're failing before their audience. And I don't know, Dr. Brown, if you're saying that's a good thing, that
you're not going to keep calling me Dr. Brown. But my only point is this. I think in this world where all we have is sound bites and we have 3 seconds and we don't have a chance for nuance and there is no place for people to describe a thing, I think that it could be helpful for people to see socialism associated with things that are in fact socialist and are in fact helpful to their everyday material conditions. So how do we expose people to connecting socialism to the policies that are helpful to their material conditions is all I'm saying. Of course, y'all will try to nominate me for Weakest of the Week and say I'm a proponent of earn your leisure because I had this thought. But I'm not gonna
I wouldn't do that. I would probably still disagree though, because I don't think that what ends up happening is their audience sees some sort of positive association between something good and socialism. I think they are confused by what is said on shows like that, and not actually explained and what socialism is and how it would actually benefit them. So they'll hear in the same thing, they'll hear, well, when the elite, whatever their examples were, give money to themselves, that's socialism for the rich. It's really not. It's capitalism exploiting people as capitalism does. And then when they, saying Social Security or some other policy from Mamdani is socialism, it's really not. It's their policies that capitalism has evolved to save itself from socialism. So yes. what I end up think happens is similar to what we argue in terms of film. Like, people don't see a film claiming to be about something revolutionary, go study it, and then become revolutionary. They get the false impression and walk away with that, and then that governs their claimed understanding of whatever that subject is. And I think that this happens again with stuff like this. These two, I don't think, have ever read anything meaningful about either socialism or capitalism, and yet have this conversation, and then people will walk away thinking, yeah, man, when the rich do this, that's socialism, and when Mamdani is talking about free grocery stores, that's socialism, and then it will easily be connected to something. To your point, it may be, as much as it may be connected to something positive, it will easily be connected to something negative, as in something taking away our freedom or choices or opportunity or business and or preventing, the black capitalist entrepreneurial rise and all that. So I would just rather see people be introduced to what socialism actually is and what it isn't, and what is the difference between democratic socialists and socialism. And then, but that would require these folks to know more about it than they do. And
I don't think that's the point of EYL, right? Like, so
no, it's not.
We're not going there expecting that. The only thing I will say, and I'll, leave this alone, is so I had a friend that used to be very like averse to the idea of getting things like social services, and she was in need of them, right? So she was actually in need of food stamps. She was in need of unemployment insurance. She was in need of these things. But in her mind, she's like, that's a handout. And so actually we had a conversation about, why are you so personally aggrieved by this idea of there being a social safety net and you benefiting from that when there are examples of companies and industries who've benefited from social safety nets, right? Essentially. And so sometimes I think that people just have to view themselves outside of, or be able to see a connection between, because there's so much shame that gets associated with poverty and, all of this kind of stuff, that what I'm doing or what I'm benefiting from is not anybody giving me a handout. This is just what I'm due as a resident or a citizen of a place. Like, there should be protections in place to keep people from falling through the cracks. That should be. So anyway, I'm just, and I don't think that can happen with EYL. So please don't think that I'm naive enough to believe that. I am hopeful enough to think that sometimes these connections can be helpful for people in moving down a particular path.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we might overestimate people's ability to highlight contradictions. Like, I think it's a skill to be able to do that. And in that audience, sometimes that might not happen. But what I thought about just now was the welfare queen stigma and all the other things, and how people are hyper negative around government handouts. And
because Elon is your biggest welfare queen.
Right. But what you're saying is, what I think you're saying, what I heard them say is, they did all these social things and socialism. They did less of socialism, bad, red scare, whatever, and they almost, they almost made an argument for social things that you shouldn't feel bad about. But they didn't do a good job at it. But they almost made that argument in front of their audience. But the thing that I'm thinking about, so right now in Baltimore, we're gonna, with the young students I'm working with, tonight or today, we talk about the Miss Leadership class, and there was I'm gonna say 2 20V1s. There was a Westmore 20V1 where all these activists was coming to Westmore, and Westmore said some shit like, Fred Hampton is serious. He's a very big deal. He's advocating for Fred Hampton because the young boy said something about Fred Hampton. And I'm going to show my students this today, while I'm also going to show Westmore advocating more FBI, more this and more this and that, right? And so Westmore, who said he knows Fred Hampton and Fred Hampton's a big deal, is celebrating the people who murdered Fred Hampton in the bed with his wife. You know what I mean? So, but I feel like in spaces like that, you would have to point these people out, because EYL's audience is very similar to the 20V1 audience. Like, for instance, they got Morgan & Morgan, who actually goes on EYL, that white boy he said he's the biggest injury lawyer in the world. I don't know. I mean, in the US. But they got a 20V1 with him talking to a billionaire, and all of them, he's pretty much saying how he's a benevolent and he gives out to these people, and my wife gives you money and all these other things. But most of those audience, they cannot critique capitalism in a way where they will think that there's another alternative out there. I think most of those audience, they're just kind of like, a fairer capitalism is what they're going to argue for. And I think that's what EYL is essentially doing. But what I'm saying is, they're forced to talk about socialism. They're forced to talk about, Democrat, even I'm going to play this right quick, because they kind of made a joke, like they didn't mean to wear a brand.
I'm sorry. Can I interrupt you, please?
Yeah.
I do have to leave in like 2.5 minutes. This is hyperbole, but can we switch gears to the other topic real fast? Because if you don't,
voice,
yes, if you don't mind, because Jared, I think sometimes he gets a little jealous that there's a professor that's more famous than him. So I don't know.
All the time. All the time.
Well, I saw Jared rate my professor versus Boyce rate my professor, and I'm not sure if he's that famous.
Oh, wow.
Do you looked up Boyce's rate my professor?
Yes.
I don't even know the last time he was a professor. When was the last time he was a professor?
Syracuse and University of Kentucky. And trust me, they be like, no.
Well, that is hilarious.
Jared finna go look at it right now.
I am. I'm about to go look it up right now.
They be like, no. Like they be like, what the fuck? And they say he be coming there saying this African shit, and he's a celebrity. I don't like. They don't understand what the fuck he's doing in those classes.
Same.
Oof. His Syracuse is oof.
See, I knew he was gonna look at it immediately.
But
okay.
Go ahead.
Can you pull up the? Okay. Or do y'all want to, Jared? Do you want to give some background on the things that are unfolding at Howard?
So, as far as I know, and unless something happened over the last day or so, I'm not. But the latest was that roughly, I think, 500 students were unenrolled for not meeting the deadline for their financial aid payments and whatever registration fees. And despite many students reporting and showing even highlighted emails where they were being told that they had a deadline in August, the university was saying, no, we gave you ample opportunity. We had warnings and emails and video messages and all kinds of stuff to warn you to make sure you hit your paydays, and otherwise you'd be unenrolled. And that's apparently what happened. So a lot of students who have already given up opportunities to go somewhere else, made all these plans to be here in the fall, or in DC in the fall, are not going to be admitted. And then the Howard University statement said these students will not be automatically re-enrolled. They're being told they can reapply for next year and come in as a transfer student, which is, for me, just from the part of being faculty at Morgan, where I don't understand what Howard's timelines are, because this seems bizarre. I've often had students coming in due to late payment weeks after the semester has started. And my complaint as a faculty member has been, why doesn't the university, I would love it if we could have this handled before classes start, so we don't have students coming in late or being unenrolled and coming back later and all this. But Morgan seems to do everything possible to get students in and get that money in, even if they means we're going to unenroll you for now and then have you come back later. And none of this, as far as I was aware, has ever happened over the summer like this. So Howard, I don't know what path Howard is on and to what extent this is new for Howard, but that's the case. And then Boyce comes in with this solution.
Real quick before the solution. So what I read was they changed some IT system that they had, and that system was part and parcel of the reason why a bunch of people got kicked off. And then several students that I saw was crying on social media. Since the video, they have been re-enrolled, like just a few of them, but not all of them. So
I don't know when that would have been, because Howard's statement of the 23rd of this month. So, I mean, they put out a statement just 3 days ago saying that they would maybe review some cases, but
they actually have re-enrolled some students. So to be clear, I think the whole Howard situation is a very multifaceted thing, and it shows you a lot of intersections. And so I think you literally need an hour to talk about that piece in and of itself. And I don't want to come across as blaming Howard. I don't want to come across as blaming the families, because I think it is just a very as things are, right? A very complicated issue that we probably needed to handle with more care. I want to talk about this nigga right here. I'm so sorry. In my last 3 minutes, and I went to a funeral yesterday. You know, they said you have 3 minutes for comments, and I'm gonna take my 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna sit down. But what makes me so mad is that this is just a demonstration of the limits of financial literacy, and also like on a broader level, the whole Howard situation exposes the racial wealth gap and what it looks like in real life, in real terms, how it develops for people. But for those students at Howard, again, whether it was their fault, Howard's fault, or a combination, for them to think that they are going to a place in a couple of weeks to start their university educations, and for them not to be able to do that, and for this man to be like, you know what, y'all, I'm going to help you because I'm going to. And in the post that I saw, I think it was on Facebook, it says you get a $5,000 scholarship. Now, to me, if you tell me I'm getting a $5,000 scholarship, I'm thinking you mean $5,000 in money. But then as you read along, you find out that Boyce is saying that you get $5,000 worth of classes. And this is also that same bait and switch that happened at, I can't remember which HBCU. I want to say it could have been like Alabama State, or where our other friend John Hope Bryant was partnering with them and also gave them access to content, right? And that was a part of the scholarship. But this enrages me because you're already talking to people who got met with them not having enough to meet the need. And so another couple details about Howard. A lot of this happened to people who were not able to get on a payment plan and pay the payment of the payment plan. And then if they didn't sign up for the payment plan, they hadn't paid 50% of the tuition for the fall. And they didn't do that, probably, I'm guessing, because there were people, some population people who couldn't do that. So you offering me classes about investing in the stock market is not going to help me to fix my problem of not having enough money to go to this school. And again, it's going to take us an hour to talk about all the problems associated with that. But he is the worst kind of slime ball. Because when I'm at my lowest, you come and offer me a trinket. What am I going to do right now today, Mr. Dr. Boyce Watkins, with $5,000 of your content? I can't all of a sudden get to DC. I can't pack my stuff up. I can't eat it. I can't do none of that right now today. So I'm just so mad at him for even offering that to people as like, no questions asked. Come on. This is content that you already made and is sitting on your website. And these are people that never would have seen your content. So you're not gaining anything from this, but you're not, or you only can gain from this. You're not losing a thing. You're going to get access to some new email addresses, to some new people you never would have met, but you're not losing nothing. You already have that content made. You ain't giving them nothing of value to you. And it makes me so mad. That was my 3 minutes. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it.
Well, he's connecting to a bunch of PhDs, you know, like y'all too. And those PhDs are constantly in the community building Black wealth through economic practices on a regular basis. So I don't know what you're doing with your mimosas, but he's serving the
prove it. I would love to see proof or any evidence of that, because when you go through the Black Business School website, there's no evidence of anybody else being involved. The courses are of no, and then to suggest that what he is offering is whatever we might think of an undergraduate degree from Howard University, to suggest that what you are offering is in any way the equivalent to that, some unaccredited maybe certificate that you might get for investment courses and nonsensical stuff about relationships and I mean it's
y'all focus on the wrong one. Cheyenne Bryant ain't the one you need to be focused on, because when I looked up this brother's skills, and he said that he's peer reviewed, I couldn't find any of the things that he was peer reviewed on. So if y'all could find that really quickly for me to publish,
Did you look for his stuff on Google Scholar?
I couldn't find it.
I'm looking right now. I've seen it before. He has some peer reviewed stuff before.
I haven't found it, and the little thing I saw was his dissertation, and that was really, really, really weak.
So if we go well, we can just look here. This is Boyce Watkins. He's got the Journal of Behavioral Science. I don't know what riding the wave of sentiment and analysis of return to consistency is a predictor of future returns. Financial Review, Journal of Small Business Management.
Yes.
Investing peer review stuff.
Honestly, one, I don't know to what extent. I'm not saying anything about these journals. I don't know. I'm assuming they're peer reviewed, but I don't know for sure. And but just in terms of him having published scholarship, there does appear to be some on government programs that increase small business firms' access to capital. 3 pages.
For me, that's not the issue, right? Like, I'm not interested.
This is only 3 pages, though. I'm making fun of that, though. I'm laughing at that.
His credentials, or like how much he's flexing his finance professor credentials. I'm more interested in the fact that he's using his platform that he has sort of as a finance content expert more than anything, right? So I think that when you are trying to take advantage of people when they're at their worst, and you are going to gain from what those people have to offer you, I think it's just awful and it's egregious. And I don't know how he could do that in good conscience.
That's the financial literacy industry, though, right? The whole industry is that way.
It is. But the thing is that I get mad when Black people do things to other Black people specifically. Like, Boyce claims to be like somebody that is very into Black empowerment. This is not how you empower the people. Yeah. So anyway, the mimosas are waiting for me.
Enjoy.
I do hope that y'all will take some time to talk about, to get up on and learn about the whole Howard situation and have that conversation, because I think it's worth a careful conversation.
I'm always, I think I don't think it's that complicated. But I will acknowledge that there are some details that I don't know. But I find it.
Dr. Brown didn't go to Howard. You went to Howard?
No.
Oh, okay.
I find it. I just think that the more of the onus should be on the institution, and I don't feel like they made themselves perfectly clear, and I'm shocked that they did this, but I think it has more to do with. My speculation was that Howard, like many HBCUs, including Morgan, have been benefiting from an influx of applications after the Trump administration shut down affirmative action at higher education.
Oh yeah, that's documented.
And as a result, I think that they've been just overbooking. And they said, we are overbooked. Let's find a way to underbook ourselves.
Well, baby, this ain't Delta. They just can't offer people the $500 voucher and be like, do you want to get on the next plane? Like, that's not.
But they can.
They can.
It is
like Delta.
That's not how this is supposed to work, everybody.
When Spelman hired a president, a CEO of a company, a professing Black capitalist as their president, who has no education background whatsoever, you shouldn't be surprised nothing about what they do. It's the whole thing is a corporation. Some people bottom line, Howard James Comey, like they had the FBI dude there teaching classes.
Well, on that note,
enjoy those mimosas. Thank you, Dr. Brown, for coming through, and look forward to your next visit. Oh wow, she was out quick again. Goodness
gracious. Man. She came here to.
She is quick with the exit, but yeah, Anyway, where you want to go next? What you want
to finish up with any boy stuff, because I wanted to go back a little bit to EYL, and then we needed to go to Don Peoples because
The boy stuff again is just very simple. He's ridiculous. Everything he offers is nonsensical. He has there's just I agree with what Dr. Brown was saying. What he is just absurd and should be condemned, at every level. And Morehouse should be ashamed of themselves for hiring him to teach classes. But I think that again speaks more about what HBCUs are and are not than anything else.
So apparently he was at the festival with your homegirl Malvo and Ken. He's been moving around a lot. I don't know what he got going on. And it was at Malcolm X College, controlling and having serious conversations around. So again, I think at some point we should take accountability for or we should acknowledge the type of people that he's grifting on, right? Even as we talk about. So I watched a little bit of Dennis' show yesterday, and he was talking about how Dr. Mayotte and Uncle, whoever his name is, been responding to us. But the reality is, all of us know each other, and we've been around each other enough, and we've had serious conversations. And when you on some bullshit, you on some bullshit, and the way in which you move on the bullshit is text a nigga or call me. Come see. I'm gonna be in Baltimore next week. Let's talk.
Honestly, I'm past that. I'm not looking for that. I don't think that's the standard. The standard for me is an honest engagement with the arguments, the work, and the claim. I don't need to be invited to anybody's platform. But every time I tune in and look at a few minutes of, including this most recent one, of what is being said, all I see, and I admit I didn't watch much, but what I do see is misrepresentation, disingenuous engagement, fraudulent engagement. So that's my thing. It's with all that just speaking for myself, with all that I have written and said on these channels, if you want to make an argument against mine, there's plenty to work with. So the copious hours that I spend on YouTube, the pages I've written, go find them, lay out, as they say, steel man my argument. This is what Jared is saying. This is how he's making his argument, and then go through and show what's wrong. And I don't have a problem with that. If you take out some of the vitriol and the hostility and the speculation about, the ad hominem stuff about who I am or what, if you take all that out and just deal with the argument, I would actually appreciate it. And I think that would be of value to the people, to the community that all of us claim we're doing this for.
Yeah.
But I don't see them doing that. And I just find that.
So I think I lost my argument.
But before. By the way, it goes to what Boyce and Malvo are doing. So I know that whatever happened at that gathering didn't come up with any real meaningful solutions, and shame on them for adorning red, black, and green and liberatory symbolism and language when none of them come from those traditions or politics. Just make your own argument. And that's what I find is the most frustrating thing about all of this. Like you can just say what your argument is, and then you could even say this is why it's better than Jared's or whoever else's, without all of the but there's so much fraudulence in these spaces. It's been really
but listen, so I think the part that I didn't, so when I'm saying a part of us knowing each other, I said it to say we literally been in conversations where I'm like, yo, well, let's bring him on the platform with Jared, and they could debate right now instead of talk. Oh no, I don't want to debate another black man, and I don't want to be. This is Boyce's response to them, and all of us are dealing with the response. But then Boyce is continuously saying and doing wild shit, and they're continuously platforming him and privately, I agree with you, Geechee. Yeah, I agree with you, Jared, the book. But then they're not doing that with Boyce because they know Boyce is a meal ticket for them. They can bring Boyce in, and he can fill up the seats, whether you want to go to Hubert Church or you want to go somewhere else in Baltimore. Boyce can bring the seats. Umar can bring the seats. So anybody who can fill up the seats, we don't critique the niggas that can fill the seats now. So that's the level of conversation that we're having. And then honestly, she intellectually tried to bring us on to study your book because she knew we had a study group. And when multiple of us came on there, she made that weak ass point again, how black people in Morgan State should be getting in the defense industry as subcontractors or entrepreneurs. And the South said, why the fuck would we need more people, black people? And she took them off she deleted them off the internet. So
I've even read at least 2 of her articles, Dr. Mott's articles on this. And I can acknowledge she's made the argument. She's made the argument in a number of articles in varieties of ways why, in one case, it would be beneficial for black girls to get involved with STEM and into cybersecurity, and what this would mean for the black community. And I just disagree with the argument. Mm-hmm. And I'm leaving it at that. That's it. So I've never said, and if I were to want to continue, I would just go back and pull up the articles and go through and explain why I don't agree in more detail. But essentially, that was her argument, that the fields are offering lucrative opportunities, and we should have members of our community in these fields to benefit from the increased attention, investment, and potential that they offer. And I just disagree. So I don't think that black people are oppressed or suffering material inequality for any reason other than however we want to describe it, the colonialism, the anti-blackness, the white supremacy, the capitalism, the exploitation. It has nothing to do with black people not being in the right field or industry, et cetera, and so forth. And again, as the Chronicle of Higher Education, at least in one published essay from last year, I believe, showed in terms of hiring and data that it doesn't matter what field you're in. So this claim that STEM offers more opportunity than liberal arts, and part of their argument was saying, this thing of what are you going to do with that philosophy degree? And what they showed is that across the board, people are being hired or not hired, fired, or not retained at the same rate. It's an issue of labor exploitation, not field. So that would, but again, that's it. So there's no animosity, there's no hostility, no name calling, no suggestions of being against the people. It's just, I don't agree with that argument. And I think that, so fine. And if there's anyone who has, can demonstrate flaws with my argument said here or elsewhere, or that I've written else, make them. Just please address the argument that I'm making. And if it's, flawed, so be it.
Listen, man, there's a few people that, the things that they say and that they put on social media about who they are, and when it don't match up with who they are in the streets and at home or community or whatever, those are just happenstance. But once you realize that these people are either grifters or they're caping for grifters, leave it at that. We ain't serious. We ain't having no serious conversations about nothing. We ain't organizing. We ain't having no intellectual debate, ideological. We ain't none of that. We just niggas trying to get some money, bro. Niggas is hurt. Niggas trying to get some money.
When you look at politics, it's the same thing.
The same thing. Yep.
You think that you're making a choice.
You're not.
You're not. You're not making a choice. They're giving you red, blue. They're giving you a Democrat and a Republican. You
left
think
wing, right
what
wing.
I just explained to little children?
Yeah, that's what.
That's what they're doing to us every single day.
I know. Yep. Same bird, left wing, right wing. No one. You don't get an option on electoral college though.
And guess what? Instead of the parents pulling the strings, it's the oligarchs that's pulling the strings, that's funding both campaigns. Mm-hmm. That's saying, hey, Let's give them option A. Let's give them option B. They're not going to revolt because they feel like they made an educated decision and they feel like they're empowered. But no matter who wins, we're going to control the situation anyway.
Yeah. And Rashad and I didn't pre-plan the red and blue hat, but it was just a perfect analogy.
So I don't think their fans are smart enough to even catch any of the contradictions that they are presenting on this thing. Like, they don't understand capitalism. They have no political clarity on nothing. They really don't even understand like basic economics from how they seem to show up. But I just don't think they fans have enough to. Well, I don't know. Let me back that up. Because they are trending and they're going to constantly be in celebrity faces and they all going to be doing this thing. Even the fans and followers who've experienced EYL and they be like, yeah, they're full of shit. I follow this thing to the conclusion, it doesn't work. I don't even think they're in a position to like expose or express that, as opposed to believing that they just made the wrong business move, or it takes more time.
Well, is I've argued around with these folks and the cryptoganda arguments that they've supported over the years. What they do is they give you advice, and then when it goes wrong, they tell you that it's because you didn't do it right. So they're aiding in the ignorance. And what they do here. So I was thinking that I don't know, without commenting on what I think or not or about the intelligence levels of their audience, it's clear to me that the intent with what EYL is doing there and in the broader discussion beyond the clip you just showed is that their point in this in condemning or confusing the discussion earlier around socialism, democratic socialists, and capitalism, and here in confusing the critique of the two parties, is their goal is ultimately to bring it back to what their purpose is, to convince their audience that all you need to do is get your money right and pay Ian $5,000 or whatever it is to join his Red Panda investing club and to sign up with all the EYL stuff and InvestFest and all that, so that at the end of the day, because they're not offering up an electoral strategy or an option. They're not advocating third and alternative parties. They're not doing any of that. They're saying, look, the voting thing is useless. You need to get your money right. And then contradicting themselves, of course, by pointing to the fact that they don't have the political power to make them, even one municipality, give them free cops and hotel rooms. So, but they also, I think, and this is, again, I have to speculate here a little bit, but what I think these folks are doing, EYL is doing, and folks like them are doing, is they recognize that a lot of what they're trying to sell, that is their courses and their worldview around investing in Black capitalism, requires some reference to world politics, to geopolitics. So they're constantly having to make these clumsy efforts to talk about the world and war and voting, but it's all meant to just say something silly to bring everybody back to. That's why, again, when they could say, look, you got to invest in real estate, and then when that goes bad, they're like, because that's why you had to invest in crypto, and then when that goes bad, they're like, that's why I told you, you got to have also divide your portfolio a little bit and have some real estate. it's like you vote, so yeah, you got to vote for this president or that president. Oh no, yeah. But both parties are terrible, so it really don't matter what you do. Yeah, he's talking about socialism. It's socialism for the rich, but it's not. But it's just democratic socialism, for grocery stores in New York. All of it is meant to just have everybody come back to all of that stuff in the world is silly. Let me just invest, circulate my dollars, start my small business, get my money right.
Or get your money right in some activist spaces, right? So this is going to connect back to Baltimore, right? Because when I was in Baltimore and there was this kid that got bullied and it went viral.
I'm sorry, real quick. I got to interrupt you again. Listen, everybody. We're not going to keep doing all this where's Diallo stuff. I'm going to start to take that a certain kind of way. We explain, deal with who's here and appreciate who's here and enjoy the show. I'm not trying to be where's Diallo. I feel a kind of way when I'm sitting up here putting in all this work with Geechee, and all we see is where's Diallo at? Where's it don't matter where he's at. We're here.
Where you at?
Where you at?
Come on the screen. You step in for him. How about that? God damn it.
God damn it. Got me interrupting Geechee again like as if Diallo was here.
That's where Diallo at, right there. He right there. You want Diallo? Watch this. Yo. Hey, listen, man. So when I was in Baltimore, there was this kid that got bullied and at Bard Connections and Bard Connections, the two schools. And it went viral. And so us who have built relationships with these people and know these people and know the situation, we're navigating it. But because it's national attention, in comes Until Freedom and Shan Dukes and my son and whatever. And so my people at there's a therapist group, Keys Development. I was hosting this event at the school, and then we had to go pick up my son. And my son comes in, and again, I know he was a rapper. I didn't know he was the damn.
You didn't know who he was?
No, I knew he was a rapper. I knew he was a rapper that never really made it for real. Like I knew he was like.
You know about his lobby boys?
He not nicer than Lloyd Banks or nothing like that. I just know he was a rapper, whatever. Anyway.
And his beef with Hassan Campbell, you don't know? Oh my goodness.
But then Tamika is again doused as his celebrity activist, and Nard doing his thing. And so I'm just like, oh, I ain't know my son, whatever. And so at the time, I got my Amos Wilson Blueprint for Black Power book, and we picking him up, and then I let him sit in the front, and he was like, oh, this book, and he said, what's that? I was like, Dr. Amos, you ever heard of him? He's like, nah. And that right there, I was like, wait, you from New York, you conscious, you in the conscious community. You don't know who Amos Wilson is? And how, so it was just
it's a rap right there, pun intended. It's a rap.
But, and again, I'm gonna fast forward it. You remember that time that Tamika said something online about her book, and I respond, and she was like, well, who are you? Like, you're not even in the streets. I'm in the street. I said, Tamika, you were at my event, and me and you talked at the barbershop, and I told you, actually, you can't speak before Elijah and them speak because they from Baltimore, and they know these people, and y'all just coming in. So y'all can get your... And she just got quiet. But the way I'm seeing these cats, right? And this is I'm going into Myth Bleak interview in my son. Remember what Myth Bleak just did last week? And they on something. My son calls
Tamika Mallory is who you're talking about.
Tamika Mallory, yeah, sorry. Tamika Mallory. My son calls Bleak after his interview for Breakfast Club and kind of like, yo, I need to be on. I come tell everything. I know everything. And then so we about to see a little bit of my son on not Breakfast Club, one of Myth Bleak's new show, saying what really happened with Kaepernick. Because again, everybody's trying to protect Jay-Z at all costs because Jay-Z's on bought some activists.
Do you want to say who my son is?
Oh, I thought everybody know. So my son is a rapper turned activist. He called himself Raptivist. And he says that Jay-Z lyrics made him an activist. That's why he wanted to become an activist. Because Jay-Z was, and he's with Tamika Mallory's group, Until Freedom, which Jay-Z kind of, Rock Nation, Live Nation, they bankroll some of their stuff. Tamika had her situation. Jay-Z paid for some situations and stuff. Anyway, Jay-Z is the funder. Jay-Z money is behind all these people right now. Or Live Nation or whatever. And my son is a rapper, now activist, and he's the legit voice for activism now for the rappers and the entertainers. And that's what he's pretty much clarifying with Bleak right now.
That they give Jay with dealing with the NFL.
Let me give you my perspective from the inside. When the whole Kaepernick thing first started, my organization was one of the first organizations to protest with Kaepernick. We went to NFL, had a big protest outside the NFL downtown.
The headquarters.
We was at the headquarters. Like we spearheaded all of that. We was on emails with Kaepernick. Like I was frontline. I'm with Cap t-shirts. We trying to boycott this and that. I see Jay come in. He got the Kaepernick jersey. He front and center with it. One day, Kaepernick stopped answering niggas' phone calls. We planned the next action. We on the email. They like, yo, Kaepernick is not answering nobody's emails. He done left the group chats.
Damn.
I'm telling you this for a fact. So I'm like, what you mean he left it? Like, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And this happened for weeks. So I'm like, what you mean he left the group chat? He's like, nah, they like, he just went silent on us. And then next thing you know, we seen Kaepernick has a settlement. He got a settlement. They say he signed the NDA. And I'm like, he didn't tell us. He didn't. So you saying that we did all of this shit? That niggas sacrifice and beefing with other niggas and we doing all this shit. And the nigga we sacrificed for just disappeared from the movement and didn't even notify us to say, yo, look, and he should have took a settlement because they owed him his money.
That's right.
But he owed us, the people that sacrificed with him, the right and just the heads up to say, this is what we doing. I dare nigga to tell me I'm lying. And that shit hurt me because I'm a cat and I still love what he does to this day, bro. He got the I know your rights. And I'm not saying anything against what he sacrificed. Even he just paid for the young boys autopsy, all these things. I love what he does, but I just don't like this narrative that niggas did dirty by him when he literally left. And if that's what you wanted to do, I'm just saying I would have never did that.
That's right.
So really quickly, I wonder how you feel about local organizing and movements and then things that become national, right? So I remember when I first started organizing, there was this young boy who got killed because the miners wasn't, the coal companies wasn't following the permits. They was mining at certain places and the fly rock came down and killed him. And his mother was in there. And we began to talk to them to try to help them plan something about it, to do something about it. Now, this was locally. These people was already around, whatever. National people came in. This lawyer came in nationally, whatever. The lawyer pretty much, they did something else. They went and they did something else. They got paid, something like that happened. But there's local stories that built out of relationships and things happen. But national stories, when things happen, people, organizations tend to like, they're not even from there, but they'll run to those spaces and kind of, it's almost like organizing vultures type stuff. So I wonder how you feel about like how people get involved with national versus local stuff. Like there might be something that happened in your city. Yeah, how do you feel about national? Does that make sense? National versus.
No, I get it, and this has been a problem even more, famously going back to Dr. King's day, where folks would accuse him of showing up and then putting on a show and then leaving, and which I think is unfair. There has to be a give and take between national efforts and local issues, especially when there are elements of organized. Some sort of organized solidarity between the two, like personally, I don't have enough experience with national campaigns. Everything that I had ever been involved with, was very local and or at a grassroots level that there would not have been any relationship with a Myson or a Tamika Mallory form of activism. That sort of elite, we're swooping in type of thing would not have ever. But just in terms of what I'm seeing here, I mean, this is what I do feel like I have some at least experience with, is that Memphis Bleak and my son, with all due respect to this effort he said he was involved with, you know, that I think is very much an Al Sharpton, Tamika Mallory type of thing. These are not seasoned, politically educated, radical organizers and activists. So I could easily see, and I don't know what the situation was, but I could easily see a situation where Colin Kaepernick and his crew would be like, looking at these emails and be like, look at these sillies on these emails. I'm not messing with these fools anymore. Or he could have seen that they are connected to Al Sharpton, Jay-Z style politics and saw that as anathema to what he was trying to be involved with. And as we saw play out, Jay-Z's efforts with the NFL were decidedly antithetical and designed to negate what Kaepernick and Eric Reed and others were doing.
And they dancing around it in this interview in so much the way they excusing Jay-Z's part, but
exactly. So they're trying to make it seem like that they were doing the real thing. Kaepernick sold out, signed an NDA, which is not true. That's misinformation.
Right. Not only is it true, but is Kaepernick, if you're an organization, right, and you don't got shit to do in your community, and you just go hop around and find national stories to jump onto, if you're really serious about the national stories, then the problem is what you're organizing against, not the fucking person. So if you really want to organize against exploitation and capitalism, nigga, do it. What the fuck Kaepernick?
And if Kaepernick was in fact a traitor and a sellout, that should not interrupt your effort to challenge the institution of the NFL. But they're not. So is where you started. This is all about the PR campaign around Jay-Z, which is, I think, a subset of a broader PR campaign around black capitalists and the black bourgeoisie.
Perfect.
And all designed to rebrand what these fools are doing as activism and political commentary.
Man.
Hey, I want to apologize to the whole activism community, everybody that's pushing the culture, moving the community forward. My words might have been taken the wrong way. I might have said them the wrong way because I definitely didn't mean fuck activism. That's what we need. We wouldn't have greats like Malcolm X and all other greats we have like Martin Luther King and everybody else you haven't read about in the history books. My thing was fuck selective Jay-Z activism. That was my words, because the homie I was speaking to, I think his name is Mousy or Mouse, he had me hot, Mice.
I seen, and that's why, I went on the post and I seen it, and people send you everything, especially because they want to cause the conflict. When I seen it, I'm like, I know Bleak, and I could tell that there's a level of frustration.
Oh, I was at the boiling point.
It's frustration, and I know being part of Rockefeller, I'm not even part of Rockefeller, and people act like I'm part of Rockefeller. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to get paid. So I know the frustration, and I'm listening to you, and I'm like, nah, Bleak don't mean that. It's just a level of frustration. And he's saying, fuck everybody that's going that Jay. I'm tired of niggas going. Yeah, that's my big bro right there.
And that wasn't my point. Like, what it was, it's like, first of all, I haven't done interviews in a minute. Like, since I got my own podcast, I haven't been sitting down with anybody because I felt like any point I wanted to get across, I say it here. But being that I had music out, we just shut down Yankee Stadium. I went up there. I had no clue they was going to throw in the Target, Kaepernick. So, my natural defense mechanism always going to kick in when it come down to my homies. I'm going to defend first and think later. You know what I'm saying? And then when I sat back and watched it, I'm like, damn, Bleak, you could have said that a little different. Could have said this a little different. Yeah. That's why I definitely, when you reached out, it's like, Mice is the perfect person to bring up here so I could speak my truth and let people know, that was out of anger, and that's not what I think. I'm all the way behind what you're doing. Like, y'all been at the front line for every movement we had out here, man. Anything that been going down in our community, you've been on the front line. And me, from a fan's perspective of watching you rap, I want to know, like, what was the transition? What inspired you to even, like, be like, yo, I'm this what I'm going to do?
I mean, I think for me, it was just actually being involved in multiple facets, right? Being in the streets, being incarcerated, coming home, just understanding the seriousness of what we're dealing with. I think first it started with being incarcerated and knowing how many of us in those cells, especially young Black and Latino men, right? And it was like, you know what? I've been in the streets and I know how they have tricked us,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we brought into the wrong thing. So I wanted to come home and change that narrative.
Yes.
And tell these kids the truth about what's going on, right?
Yeah.
They got a whole structure that is designed to keep us inside of themselves and keep us, you know, away from anything that's positive.
That's
you know,
a
so
fact.
that's why when we talk about activism and we have these conversations about activism, and a lot of people don't really understand the whole level of activism, you know, and that's what I was trying to tell. I'm like, Bleak is not coming from a perspective of he's saying fuck activism. He's coming from a perspective of people who are being attacked, especially when you in the line. Like, I'm attacked. Like,
Yo, I see it. I
like
know.
literally,
Remember,
I'm on the front line doing work, and people attacking me like, yo, you're not for the community, you the boule, and you with the Illuminati, all types of bullshit. So I understand the frustration.
Boule Illuminati
but
is
I
real
do this
different,
work
bro.
because it comes from my heart.
That's right.
Right. So when I'm watching and I'm seeing how people use,
That's all. But it seems like them two is on this serious cleanup job. And not only that, but there's a point where my son starts off by saying that they started the Target boycott. Even though they say that one sister did it, they started the Target boycott. And then right after that, he says, but the people started it, right? So this whole interview was them reimagining what activism is. Activism is only the shit that Jay-Z paid for. And anybody that's organizing or activism that critiques Jay-Z, Meek is like, fuck them. He, you know, and they just as bad as what's it, Uncle Murder in them, which he also talked about that. He just want Uncle Murder and what's the other rapper name from 50 Cent's group? I don't remember. Who he beefing with. He just want them to come sit down on a podcast together because at the end of the day, all these motherfuckers care about making money, getting views, and whatever.
We called the boycott.
Yes.
Tamika was the first person. I mean, Senator Nina Turner, Tamika, and Jamal Bryant, they was the forefront of the boycott. So when that happened, and they say Jay did a deal with Target, I'm reaching out to people that's in Ron Nakeds because we family. So I'm
That's
like, what's
right.
going on? And they like, this ain't no exclusive deal. This is the regular place.
Can you pause this for a second?
Everybody music is there. We didn't have no exclusive deal with Target.
One of the things that I think is interesting is that you know, and I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna mention anything because I don't know the details. But there's been a number of folks who have been speculated across the country to have been taking advantage of the post George Floyd moment to create nonprofits, to be claiming to represent the community as a way of funding, to get funding. There's been accusations related to so-called street organizations in the West Coast, famously or infamously involved with these claims to be getting big nonprofit money to be doing work in the community when it's really not that. And when you look at the United Justice Coalition, I'm not claiming that they're doing anything untoward at the level that I was just speculating or referencing, you know, vaguely. But it's just another elite nonprofit effort that has nothing to do with radical grassroots politics and real movement building. The reason the reason that I'm more familiar with my son than anything else, aside from the relationship to Tamika Mallory and Sharpton and all of them, and again, I don't mean to suggest that Hassan Campbell is anything of a political, you know, I'm not on the same page with him for any number of different reasons. But I have found it interesting over the years to note that one of his beefs with my son involves, from Hassan Campbell's point of view, the false claims around my son and his crew to be doing community activist work while making videos and music with Jim Jones. And the Lobby Boys record is one example. And the point of the Lobby Boys is that they're in the lobbies of all the hood project houses, and they're doing all the dirt that they're whatever. And so it's like, so as Hassan Campbell's been pointing out, you keep claiming you're doing all this stuff for the community, but all the music you put out glorifies and encourages the behavior that got you locked up, that got me in terms of Hassan Campbell locked up and all these other people killed. And then you come out here and, and when you see the videos for this stuff, they're out there, it's like, in the furs and standing on the cars and rocking the jewelry and it's like, what is this? So anyway, I just need to point, but here he's being presented by another legendary organizer and activist, Memphis Bleak, is somebody who's representing these real politics and struggle. It's wild.
Yeah, they try to clear that up here too with his rap image and positive, and they pretty much said that even when you do the social media, all we do is talk negative. We're negative. Everybody negative. They only report the negative things. They don't do the positive thing. Jay-Z bailed somebody out. Jay-Z did this. He did this. It's a negative thing. Now, this interview, none of y'all would have seen if I didn't pull it out of the ashes of wherever the fuck it was. But
Zenzabel, I'm not from those project houses. So I'll be more explicit in saying, if I haven't, that I did not grow up in the project houses and the lobbies where the lobbies are in New York and all of that. So your joke I don't know why you try to take a shot when your joke is kind of, it's silly. I don't present myself as coming from those communities or that neighborhood. And those of us have lived in the communities. Nobody is celebrating that we want to fucking be back in there. Like, that doesn't make it. Like, like, my family don't want to be in Thrive's Neck right now. I know for a fact they don't want to be in there, but they gonna be there for. It is hood project housing, so I don't even know I don't even get the joke. But I guess that's because I'm not from there either, so I don't know. I mean, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Here we go.
So those are messages that that's why y'all gotta utilize. That's why I'm trying to say they can't divide us.
Definitely,
because that's what the game is. I'm telling you, they divided Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King. They divided Huey P. Imagine if Huey P, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, James, all of them was together. They couldn't do nothing with them. And we in a moment right now where there's so much power.
So now he's Malcolm and Martin.
The Yankee Stadium and you see Jay-Z got over 40,000 people in the building, right? This is historic. Yes. That means that he got the ears of the people, right? And they know that we have the streets. We have the people that really on the front lines of the civil rights movement. They know that when we make a decision and we decide that, listen, we're gonna get behind the people because we work for the people. We don't call no boycotts because the people called the target. The people decided that Target was the target.
Yeah.
So when people ask, like,
decided that,
why Target? Why not Google? Why not? The people decided. People said what? Black people say, yo, we spend a bunch of money in fucking Target. We damn near treat Target like it's the club. Especially black women. They going in there for 7 to 8 hours.
That's a
fact. So y'all
fact.
telling us that y'all gonna take DEI away from us after all the money and the time we spending? Fuck y'all. We gonna boycott y'all because we know that we gonna directly impact it.
Exactly.
And that's why over $5 billion they lost in that.
Yeah.
But as Renee pointed out, that has more to do with losses they were already incurring because of that anti-LGBTQ thing that the whites had started running. People keep forgetting that part. The boycott, again, the Target started losing money. And again, shout out to Renee for this, Saturdays with Renee. She pointed this out long ago. Target started losing all that money because of the Bud Light and the white folks getting mad at them. This idea that black people have created this solely among themselves, and this represents some sort of economic strength is well, I mean, that's why he's up here. That's why he's being presented as the leading analyst and activist. I mean,
listen. So back to Zenzi. I don't know if Zenzi was making another point and maybe y'all got wires crossed, but I know for a fact when you go to the hoods, these niggas is talking like these niggas on this camera right now. The same, like my cousins was bragging about ICE. Like, yeah, ICE need to get these niggas out. These niggas ain't really doing nothing. Trump a nigga. Trump a street nigga. Like, this is an advanced level of these niggas in them communities.
President that does what the fuck he want. This thing is the biggest scammer in the world.
Yo,
and they'll tell you, but I've never seen no shit like that.
Yo, but listen,
he literally scamming in front of you. Like, listen,
but I'm gonna be honest.
I know you're gonna be honest.
I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. But now you gotta respect it, man. He a New
See?
York nigga. He
But the
snatching
thing
that
is this,
bag
but
right
the thing
now.
is this.
If you put a hustler
But
for,
you
if
know
you
the
put
thing
one of
is?
my Marcy niggas in that office, they gonna do the same.
But they
thing.
couldn't do the same thing because if a black or Spanish nigga try to do that shit,
They
you'll
gonna
be in
clip
jail.
him.
You've been in
They
jail
gonna clip
the
him.
first day. Like you've been in jail the first day. So
Hey,
that's
they
what I'm
gonna
saying.
clip
I
him.
just want I would
Yo,
respect
Trump
it if you
is
was telling me
wildin'.
that we could do that. If you saying, yo, look, this shit is easy. Everybody can do it. Give us the same playing field.
Yeah.
Then I'm cool with
Yo,
it.
but
But
Trump-
nah, y'all can't keep controlling the playing field. Y'all get to control who
So the
gets
level
this.
playing
Y'all
field
get
he
to
wants
control
is the ability to
message
rip
gets
off his
put out. Y'all
community
get-
like
nah,
whites.
my nigga, that's what white
No.
supremacy does.
White
And
Mhm.
we
Niggas
and a
just
lot of us
words
don't
up, man. Like I ain't gonna make y'all suffer no more. But yeah, them clats. Like the funny thing is, it's almost like Jay-Z probably also. So you know how like Hammer had some people that he would pay who just like you nigga, you just stand over there. Like you just go do something with yourself. That's the type of nigga that Memphis Bleak seemed to Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z is not paying them to run cover for him. Their sycophancy is all their own shit. And Jay-Z probably don't even think much about them other than, oh shit, I gotta go to New York. So, let me bring Bleak on the stage too, because Bleak, I did say that line that Bleak will be good forever. And my son is like, y'all should depend on us, man. Y'all gotta talk to us. And my son just him and Tamika, they trying to do their PR stuff. That's it. Like my son is Cap. You Cap, my son. And y'all grifting and y'all ain't even good at it though. Like y'all, at least EYL them niggas. Like now they want to be like EYL. At least they got platforms and they flying on hot air balloons. Like my son and Bleak, y'all, Bleak, my son, Bleak, weakest of the week.
They're trying to catch up.
Yeah, man. So I got one more. We can go to Caitlyn too, but I don't know if you saw this dude, and hell, everybody coming from EYL. Peoples. And there's another buying power and black business ownership. But the report that I look up, I don't think that's the right report. And I think they're just, again, trying to use it to scam black folks. But this man is not really concerned about anything other than managing large white firms' money. And that's kind of what he said this even on EYL stage, but here's this 87 trillion capitalism gap that he's talking about. And I'm gonna try to pull up the report and see if this is the same thing. But
Go to Vietnam, we don't have to go to China, we don't have to go anywhere else. We can do it right here because African American entrepreneurs have been denied access to capital. $87 trillion of capital is invested in venture capital and private equity right now.
Yeah.
Yes, but less than 1.3% of it is invested in firms run or owned by people of color and women combined. I mean, so that's systemic discrimination when it comes to the deployment of capital. And I'm going to fight very hard to change that. We don't have to go to Vietnam. We don't have to go to China. We don't have to go anywhere else. We can do it right here because African American entrepreneurs have been denied access to capital.
So again, when I was pulling up the let me go back to when I was pulling up this research that I think is coming from, and maybe I'm reading this wrong, and I hope you can help me here, but it comes from the Knight Diversity of Asset Management Research series, and this number here is what they seem like they're reporting. So the asset management industry. Now, I think somebody will argue that, well, if I was managing these white people assets, I will invest it in black entrepreneur startups. And maybe he's saying that if he was able to manage white people's capital, he'll help black people out with it. But this is not the same conversation with entrepreneurs and the buying power thing. I think it's a different conversation. But facilitating the movement of capital from investments to entrepreneurs, growing ventures, and restructuring enterprises. What he was quoting there, this 82 trillion, well, he said 87 trillion in U.S. in asset under management. Our analysis finds that only 1.4% of total US-based AUM, and our sample is managed by diverse firms as of September 2021. From your understanding, what is he talking about? Like, again, managing assets from a big thing, and this include people who bid on construction, right? So he want to be able to direct where white capital goes, and he believes that if more black people was in charge of directing where white capital go, more black entrepreneurs will start getting the investment that they need. In turn, it will be a fair capitalism. Is that?
I mean, as I understand it, I think that's what, as I understand what he's saying, and I've seen this similar claim about the percentage of investment capital that does or does not go to black-owned firms. But the problems, again, are several, starting, of course, with the fact that in the capitalist economy, at the end of the day, it does not matter who the owners are, because the wealth will be accumulated among them. So even if they come from your community, whatever the your is, there's still going to be wild inequality. So it's just that start there. So the idea that, yes, so there's tremendous amounts, and I'm sure that those figures are accurate, that there's tremendous amounts of money in private equity that is being managed, that is determined by whoever is being hired, whatever firm or person is being hired to manage those assets, and is being determined how much is or is not being invested where. The goal, of course, of an asset manager is to make as much of a return on the investment. So they're not going to be looking to take risks in investing in small black businesses and in which are going to be in sectors of the economy that are not going to be generating a lot of revenue, and they're going to be targeting a bunch of poor consumers.
Even if they take risks, Jared, even if they take risks, their goal is to make as much profit as possible, up to taking the company away from your ass. So that's not going to build black wealth anyway. Like, how's Fawn going to build black wealth when white capital going to control every step of her interaction in the industry?
But my point, but yes, but when I'm also saying risk here, I'm saying risk that I'm not saying they're not going to take any risk. I'm saying they're not going to take a risk in black small businesses.
Your popcorn ain't going to get funded.
Or in areas of the economy where black businesses are likely to be found. They're not there. That's not likely where they're. So even if it's a black person in control of the assets being managed, they're going to lose their job if they start investing in black this and in that, because black people cannot open businesses in areas of the economy that generate the most money. So what Peoples is and we've covered him before in the past, as a real estate person, what he's looking for is, because he's also the one that made the claim that he's going to buy up this land in this whatever in New York, and he's going to create this black business incubated space in something like that. But it's all nonsense, because either you're going to need white consumers and therefore white investment to scale up in this whatever, or you're going to probably, like what you just said, do what Sheila Johnson just did with her hotel in DC, trying to sell it to Marriott. Like, it's like, where's the generational wealth you're handing to black people if as soon as the black business gets to a certain size, it sells itself to a white investment or a white monopoly. So, yeah, I mean, it's just bizarre to, instead of pointing to the problem, again, there's a problem with race and capital. And instead of saying racism prevents black people from getting the requisite investment that they deserve, which would then lead to the next step of saying, even if they did, it's only going to produce a certain amount of wealth that's not going to be properly distributed. And therefore, black people as a community should be looking to mobilize themselves into movements and entities that are going to assume political power and redistribute the wealth that we're all producing and generating. Instead of doing that, they do these other nonsensical things of saying, no. The Black Revolution is getting more money invested into Black firms, or having more Black people put in position to manage the investments. Look, I happen to know somebody who is a Black person who is in control, who literally runs one of the largest private equity, or I don't know if it's one of the large, an enormous, billions of dollars. This is a Black person who is maybe not fully where we are politically, but is not an anti-Black person, is not the enemy, is a wonderful human being, actually, someone I like very much. But the reality is, this person could have my politics and would not be able to behave one bit differently without losing their job. So the idea, and their job is to manage the assets of this elite whatever. And if they don't do what everybody does in those spaces, they get replaced. And the fact of their Blackness becomes, as it is now, irrelevant. So I can at least confirm it's not Damon, it's not John, and it's not my wife.
So listen,
if it was my wife, I wouldn't be here.
Listen, we still can
Diallo, by the way, I haven't gotten paid. Diallo don't pay. Earn Your Liberation don't pay. So that's power. The man could be sick, not even here, and we're picking cotton after dark.
And he still ain't gonna pay us.
And he's still not gonna pay us.
Maybe we should put this dude on. We should put Diallo on this.
Diallo need to be weakest of the week.
We got Meek Mill and my son. We got EYL. We got Boyce, and we got Don, the ass set manager.
No, I did disprove my own theory. That's my point. Actually, my theory would also require that they would be famous. You can't be rich, radical, and famous. So they are rich, and I would say left of center, but they're not famous. And even if they are radical, they're not famous. You can't be all three. So my theory holds. My theory is undefeated, in fact.
Get the EYL check. Yeah, I ain't get my EYL check for real.
I ain't get my EYL check.
I need my shit, bro. I need my
EYL check. We have not earned our liberation. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
hey, so I got Meek and my son, EYL, Boyce, and Don. That's good for the weakest of the week.
As long as Boyce is on the list.
Boyce is on there.
Yeah.
Y'all ready? Boom.
Yeah, let's put this up. Put this up. Meek and my son.
EYL,
Boyce, and Don the asset manager. Yeah, I'm getting in the chat. What number is Boyce? I'm voting this week. Boyce. I'm putting my vote in for Boyce this week.
Dang, Boyce. Hey, so
Boyce is tripping.
So while that's going, I did watch a little bit of that. The WNBA is at Obama Center practicing, doing some of the All-Star stuff. Now listen, I did watch your interview a little bit. I mean your conversation a little bit, and I do remember comparing Caitlin Clark to Larry Bird, not for talent wise, but because they were the pride of white America somewhere. Like they come from some weird ass air place, whatever. But as you said, Bird could hoop though. Bird actually could hoop. And it made me think of some of the white athletes I played with, that there was at least one of them that was like, yeah, you can play anywhere. And the rest of them just like, eh. But Caitlin Clark, I don't remember where she come from now. Like wherever
Iowa or something like that.
Yeah, so like that means she probably, and I wonder if she even wanted to be famous. Like how far? I wonder if there was a conversation with like, hey, you could probably be as big, like you could take this thing far. And
I'm sure she's been told this, and I'm sure, and I've also it's been said that she has attempted to distance herself from the MAGA supporters. Then she did show up at this Obama thing and said nice things about Obama, and apparently her MAGA audience is getting upset. But what I find most interesting about the Caitlin Clark story is the defenders of her that show up in my comment section telling me that whoever is critical of her is wrong, and how dare we? And I was like, I'm actually shocked at how much there has been an attempt to defend her when I wasn't actually saying anything. All I was saying was apparently, because I don't watch, apparently she's not as good as people think.
Of course not.
And apparently a lot of the people that are saying she's the greatest don't know anything about the league and don't like the league being comprised of all these black women and black queer women.
Jared,
so
listen, you send me down a memory lane. When I finished at Pikeville University, there's a receiver named Nick Jameson, white boy from Prestonsburg, Kentucky. I don't know. Nice, like athletic, like nice. Then there's Justin Lamb, who he just can catch, like he has hands, but he like one day watching us black athletes, Justin Lamb caught a ball over the middle, and he tried to juke and go back. Like, you know how you go back to gain ground and get more ground? He tried to do that, and my coach says, like, Justin, you're white. Like,
oh wow.
He said, you can't do that. What the he was mad at Justin because Justin tried to juke. He said, just catch the ball and go for it. So I'm saying that to say, I saw Dre said Caitlin is nice. Now, I must admit, I haven't really watched Caitlin, but I know some of those black girls in the league and in colleges is nice. And Caitlin being nice in Iowa, sometimes seeing a particular black girl versus seeing those particular black girls every night is a different conversation. Like I know 7 UK girls for the last 15 years that all will bust Caitlin. What's her name? I'm about to say Caitlin Jenner. Caitlin Clark ass on the court every time. Every time. Little, small, like every time. So Caitlin Clark is not no Larry Bird transcend being around a bunch of white people playing with black people and fitting in. I think Caitlin Clark is like, now she's like, she's not, she's Caitlin Clark, bro. That's it. Like,
I don't need to know anything. Look, I don't pretend to be an expert in this, but I don't need to know any more than I already know about this country to know that all the fervor around this is about white America wanting a great white savior.
Yeah.
And whether she, even if she is the best player ever, to me, that's not the point. The point is and Obama bringing her in there, and like, to me, this is just more of his diabolical nature to take advantage of this moment and in an attempt to recruit Caitlin Clark to sort of the good side of the ruling elite. She isn't the best on her team. I've heard a number of people say that. But to me, that's not, again, the same thing. All of that love that Larry Bird used to get had nothing to do with his game. It was that white folks wanted this white man to be as good as he was, and he was that good. But now, what I just learned this week,
ain't the best man in the league white right now? Ain't the best man in the league white right now? That's what they say. The best player
in the NBA, I don't know, probably Luka Doncic, probably, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know.
Ta-da.
And even if he is, what I also know is that white fans that largely support the NBA want him to be the same way they wanted Dirk Nowitzki to be, and it's, again, it's not even, or the Joker. I'm not commenting. I'm not even commenting on them as players or individuals. I'm not commenting on Caitlin Clark as a person. She may be a wonderful person and a great player. That is irrelevant to the points that I'm making and to the discussion that I'm seeing happen. Now, what I do think that I just learned this week about Larry Bird, that is a knock on him. I just saw an interview with Robert Parrish that I had never seen before, where Robert Parrish said that when you go back and look at the fight that Larry Bird had with Dr. J and Moses Malone, the interviewer asked, well, Robert, why didn't you get into it?
Because they don't like, you don't fuck with him.
And he said, I don't fuck with Larry Bird. He said, because he said specifically, he said, I like Larry. He said, actually, I like Larry. He's a great guy. He said he was a great ball player, but he did not stand up for me in my contract dispute with the Celtics. And at the time he got into that fight with with Dr. J, he was in a contract dispute with the Celtics, and Larry was not supporting him. So he said when the fight kicked off, I looked over there and was like, you on your own. And I thought that was, so I said, wow.
Listen, I've always saw Robert Parrish. I like the Chief. I always saw him as somebody like, say you need help, say you need help. Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, and even Dennis light-skinned Dennis. Like Baltimore seemed like a Confederate town. The Celtics, I can imagine what. I don't know. I even thought Chief was kind of weird being there.
Look, I figured he needed a job, and the Celtics there's only 30 teams or whatever in the NBA. You need a job. But my thing is, but I actually don't agree. Like that to me says a lot, because my attitude would have always been, if we're on a team and you get swung on, I'm swinging. Somebody getting swung on,
Man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. You do you not remember the Titans in movies? Remember the Titan type movie? Like, I don't know, bro. Like, if there's a dude on our team who wants some shit and I throw hands with him and he about to throw hands with some black dudes, I don't know. I don't really know.
Again, in that situation, that's different. That's why I'm saying in general, what Parrish was explaining, I think said a lot about what Larry Bird's relationship was to his teammates and to other players, which I think, because I'm saying in general, I think the attitude should be the opposite, which is why Steven Jackson and that Indiana Pacers crew will always be on my Mount Rushmore, because as soon as old boy had the beer thrown on him, they was in the stands.
It was popping.
And if we're on a team, it might throws beer on me and you don't swing and jump in the stands next to me, then we might have to fight next.
And you know what? I respect Metal World Peace. Apart from him trying to be a rapper, he tried to slide me his mixtape when I was in that dude. Can't rap. He's horrible. Yeah. But whenever I used to say that, he didn't buck up at Ben Wallace, but he started beating them. I think what he was trying to say is, like, I'm not about to fight this nigga on TV, but y'all white people in the stands, y'all can get it. And so I stand corrected if I.
But again, a fight with another player in the league, to me, is very different. That to me is a whole different situation. A white person throwing beer on me from the stands, that's a whole other level. That's not regular whatever beef on a court. That is a complete. The fans, to be honest with you, I don't even think they have a right to say much. The minute they physically cross the line, that to me is much, much different than a beef with another player. So whether it's about being afraid of Ben Wallace or not, which I doubt, to me it's just different. It's just different. Yeah. Again, just if I have an argument with a faculty member and we get into it, okay, whatever. But if somebody from the board of regents walks in and throws a beer on me, that's, I don't know. Whatever, something that to me is just very different.
And Steven Jackson went to Mad Max school. Mad Max a fighter, and Steven Jackson.
And I'm not. Like I have more mental scars from the fights I've avoided than the ones I've gotten in. But that's an absolute violation, deserving of all the levels of response. But anyway, I had Artez, Sprewell, Ramon. Absolutely. Yeah. Sprewell's another one. That's another one. Who you talking to? Who you talking to? Because you a coach, you get to say whatever you want to say? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I didn't care about Sprewell back in the day or nothing, but he immediately goes on my Mount Rushmore. I don't care what his game was like. PJ Carlissimo. How dare? Who are you talking to?
Hey, listen, man, you gonna have to deal with them contracts. No matter how much celebrity you get, you gonna have to deal with them contracts. And you know what Kanye say? You know, even if you got a Benz, you still a nigga in the coupe, and they gonna remind you, and you gonna have to make a decision. You gonna have to
went back and apologized to Adidas.
But it's kind of like the dude, the military dude that you was talking about on the show last night, or whatever night that was. I mean, after all that, he still left away and say it's a great place to be. I mean, I'm glad. Of course, I want to be. Like, wait, like you say, you had to fight for your black life every day, and you got so tired of it, and then you like what? So, I don't know what people do for economic gain, bro.
And yeah, I just was definitely not built like that. The first noose I find in my locker, I quit. Like, you can have it. Listen, I'm definitely not going to war with you.
Listen.
Or I'm Eddie Murphy in life. You don't want to give me that gun, boss.
Listen, I did a contract with Outward Bound in Baltimore in Leakin Park. And you know they survival and they stay out and they tied ropes and whatever. One day, it wasn't a noose, but it looked close to a noose. That shit was on my desk. And I lit that motherfucker up, and somebody was like, oh, I guess this one person, they was trying to tie a knot, and they went to the bathroom and they dropped it on my desk by mistake. But that's what they said. But I was like, I would lit that motherfucker up in there. So I can imagine, again, Leakin Park, you know, Outward Bound is in Baltimore, but Outward Bound is essentially white outdoorsy people. so yeah.
Just keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to your private messages. So all right, so we congratulating Boyce.
Yeah, man.
His well-earned weekend. He had Dr. Brown getting upset, and I feel like she even cursed a little bit.
Yeah,
called him a name.
You listen, man. I said it here, but just be looking for a call, because I know I'm gonna have to interact with him at some point on that campus, and you know,
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm trying to get invited to campus.
I got you for the last the end of the semester. I want you to either come visibly or virtually.
No, I'm trying to show up.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be on campus.
Come down.
Let's So congratulations to Dr. Boyce Watkins for this week's Weakest of the Week. Congratulations. You can add that to your list of accomplishments. Put it on your Black Business School website. Weakest of the Week, July 26, 2026. All right, man, we got to wrap it here because I got to go, and Diallo got enough free labor from me this week.
Yeah.
Skip didn't even show up. I feel we getting exploited out here.
We look like Bleak and my song, man.
Bleak and my son. Except we be out here talking about, man, Diallo was the greatest. Who out here talking shit about Diallo? What y'all do? Diallo gave us a platform. He let us earn on our own. He didn't have to put money in my pocket. He gave me a platform and said, go earn your own.
Diallo raised bosses.
Diallo raises bosses. Y'all sucker MC podcasters out here.
He's a dependent, yo. You a dependent.
You a dependent. We bosses. All right, man. Peace, everybody, to the undefeated chat. You know, and my apologies, Enzi. I'll stay out your space next time. My apologies.
All right, y'all.
Peace, everybody.
I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. Y'all been in church 2 hours and you're expecting to see heaven out here, and there ain't no heaven. You're still right here on hear the black man's truth. No, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You've been down on your knees the last 2 hours, haven't you? Begging some God to help you in the hereafter. But the hereafter is right now, brother. The hereafter is here and now.
We a series of amendments and leather African pendants, handguns and incense. Liberation's expensive. Earned by studying love, books and bloods, the crooks and thugs, the capitalist loves. They the enemies of the people because the words written replace where the innocence was. Searching for knowledge to escape what ignorance does. So we earn liberation by rejecting what was.
You got to earn your liberation.